We're recording. Okay, we're recording. As we're going through all this, again, get used to all these logins, get used to all these services. Come Web 2, we're going to have even more. And that's just the way the web is. And the web is full of services that we all have to kind of piece together, and we just want to get used to it. We looked at the Webflow and the Wixes and the Squarespaces and all those services of the world that basically said, look, just don't worry about any of that stuff. Just let us take care of it for you. Just keep paying us, to do all this. And at some point, your design team, your clients are going to say, can we customize this? And what you want to be able to say is yes. And what you can't say is you can't blame your platform. All right. Now I'm doing all this talking while y'all get logged in to Netlify, get logged into Hover, get logged into CodePen. And let's get, all right. Once we're all logged in, let's get started. All right, we're gonna wrap up our secure FTP today, and that'll allow us to get form submissions. All right, I'm gonna start screen sharing here right now. As always, thank you for logging in early. It's a great service and courtesy, sorry. It's a great courtesy to your classmates and to me, and I appreciate it. So, all right, so right here, we're looking at our staging site. This is where we don't want to send people. We don't want to send people to our code. We want to see the result of that code. Okay, and our production is on Netlify. Okay, and this is gonna make a lot more sense once we start doing more advanced stuff with Netlify. So once we're logged into Netlify, okay, you should go to your project. It should look something like this. Okay. And for you, you only have one project on Netlify. Okay. And again, we just drop it all right into here. So you're going to go into our project, and then we're going to go to domain settings inside of our project. Okay. And the last part is it's actually pretty easy. Okay. So we're going to go to domain settings, and right here under add custom domain. So from your app, go to add custom domain. And we're going to go ahead and type in your custom domain, not mine, your custom domain. And my custom domain happens to be my last name.xyz. Okay. And we can verify that. All right, so once we do that, it says, are you the owner? Yes. Okay, so how do we know that we're the owner? Well, we have a Hover account that we purchased it from. We have a Hover account that is pointing to the correct IP address. We have a Hover account that is pointing correctly to the production URL. So again, this is production, staging, production. Okay. Again, staging, production. And so we have it's pointing to this right location right here. And we're back inside of this and just go ahead and nope, we only got that one domain. Okay, so yes, go ahead and add that domain. Okay, so you typed in your domain. As you're doing this, it jumps down to the bottom of the page. I'm like, well, why would the heck would it jump down to the bottom of the page? So right now, all of our sites are giving us this potential security error, and this is not what we want to have for our clients. Okay, and as we saw in last class, like we have to use HTTPS in 2020, and older classes years ago didn't have to worry about any of this stuff. Like HTTPS was optional. It was a nice thing you did to your users. And websites have gotten more and more complicated to where this isn't just a requirement. Some websites you can't even go to, right, if they're not being secure. And if you want to know more about that stuff, I will gladly give you a lot of references. But for us, all we care about is we're going to get this certificate for free. Okay? And Netlify is going to secure our website for us. Okay? And by the end of the class, this should be all set up. And by the end of class, we should be able to type in our domain name, right? And this should be ready to go. And this takes time, as we've talked about before. So now Netlify has added in 2 more domains. We have our subdomain, which is provided by Netlify. We have our primary domain. And then we have, just in case, the www, if someone types that in, it knows where to go. Okay, we want to be able to redirect them to this one. And so any of your resumes or any of your cover letters, you don't have to put the www in there, right? It's modern web design says there was a time probably before you were born that we had to type in www dot the domain name, and now we don't have to do it anymore. It redirects correctly. But this is a nice legacy fix. All right, that should be it. And we're going to go ahead and check for this at the end of class. Okay. And again, this takes time, and hopefully by the end of class, this will all be working. If it doesn't, right, we'll just keep checking it. All right, so that takes care of HTTPS. So now let's go get back into our project, right? And let's start designing, right? Let's start designing this. Right, inside of our project, from the course website, you have a link to the Professor Pen. You should probably open that up too. And then you have a link to my project. No one should fall behind because you always have a link to my project. Again, from the course website right here, project. Right, this is the sample project. And if you need any code, just copy and paste from me. Okay, there's that transparency again. So just copy and paste from my project. So a good way to have this open is have my site open in a tab, have your site open in a tab, and just go back and forth. Okay, so now what we want to do is, from last class, we made our 404 page. Okay, and a good way to navigate through this is simply use this drop down right here. And this is good for when your pages aren't linked up together. So we can go to our contact page and our 404. Now notice our 404 and our portfolio don't have our background color that we put in there. And so what we want to do now is start cleaning up our file and folder structure. And I've been teasing this for quite some time. And now is the time to talk about relative versus absolute paths and our syntax to make this thing happen. So let's go ahead and go to index.html, and we're going to copy out. So let's go from here. We're going to go to index.html. We're going to have index.html open, which is our home page. And what we want to do here is copy, right, our link, our style sheet for normalize, and our style sheet for our own styles. And this is our own styles.css right here. And so what we want to do is correctly link this up. So we're going to do something that at first seems kind of weird, right? It seems kind of unnecessary. But what we need to do is use our imaginations and pretend that we literally have hundreds and thousands, literal thousands of files inside of a website. And we need a way to structure that. And wherever you go work, they're going to say, this is how we structure our files and folders. And I get you used to thinking this way, right, in class. So, the first thing I say is like, everything's got to be lowercase. The next thing I say is we need to make a new directory here, right? So down at the bottom, there's new directory. We're going to call it CSS, all lowercase. Okay, like everything, the only thing that's capitalized is our content. Everything between the angled brackets, everything else is all lowercase. And so we're going to create a folder there called CSS down the bottom, clicked on new directory. And then two things are going to happen. The first one is we're going to highlight styles.css, and we're going to move it into the CSS folder like so. And as soon as we do that, we should have some expectation. So right now, styles.css, and this is what we need to know, styles.css and index.html, they're siblings. They're in the same project root folder. And what we want to, but now we're going to move them. All right, so now I'm going to take styles.css and I'm going to move it into the CSS folder. And I need people to vote, and I need to know that you're there here. Like, so talk to me. Is my website going to have the styling, right? Is it going to have this orange color? Is the background going to be gray if I change the location of styles.css? Yes or no? Basically, is the site going to look the same, or is it going to be broken? Right?
It's going to break it.
Perfect. All right. Whoever said that, thank you. I don't have the things up, y'all. So, right. Okay. So it's broken. So we're gonna do this just like. Right. I want to give you full credit. Who was that speaking?
It was Andy.
Andy, thank you. Andy is completely correct. And look how fast that refreshed. Okay. Anyone know how to bring up the project roots? I can't see it on my screen. Nick, can you clarify your question there?
Yeah, so you have all your project roots, your CSS, your 404. On my project for whatever reason, they're not there, and I
Did you
don't.
make them?
Yeah, I should have all of them.
All right. Let's try to debug that at the end of class. I'm not sure
Yeah.
why your files are missing.
All
Double
right.
check that they're not in another folder. So it's broken. This is exactly the way we want. What, Colin? Wait, it's broken. This is what we want. Yeah, we want to be able to understand file and folder structure. So inside of index.html, right? Thanks, Andy. What we want to do here is give a different path. And there's some syntax for this. And the first one is we're going to go dot /, okay, on our file path right now. And this is basically saying, all right, oh, sorry. What we want to do right now is go into we're going to change this file path. So we need to go into the CSS folder and we separate a file and a folder with a /. And if we hit save on this, all of our styles comes back. All right, beginning web designers. If you got this, you might, like, I'm bored, right? But if you don't got this, this might seem overwhelming. And when we first introduced it, the class is usually split. Like people who understand file and folder structure on Windows and Mac, like, yeah, this is basic stuff. So CSS goes into a folder, but if you're not used to typing out your file and folder names, this can seem really confusing at first. Like on your Macs and on your PCs, like you can just type the file and folder names, like go into this hard drive, go into that folder, go into this folder, and give me that file, and never touch your mouse. And so this is what we're doing to our browsers, that exact same thing. So we have a folder here called CSS, and down in that we have a file called styles.css. So I'm going to break this intentionally on purpose just to prove a point. Okay, so I'm going to go in my styles.css and go, forget you, Colin. I'm not going to listen. I'm going to do my own thing, and I'm going to call this thing super styles. Right? Watch what, if I can spell correctly, watch what's going to happen to our style sheet. It broke. We have to be this explicit with computers. That's kind of the lesson today. Part of it is we have to be this explicit, right? If we do a capital S like this, watch what happens. It still fails. And so often a lot of our bugs are human errors. They say in computer science, one of the hardest things is counting from 0, adding 1. There's an entire quote all about it. So many of your bugs are from counting from 0 and adding 1. Okay, because computers count at 0, humans count at 1, and that difference, right? And in humans, we like to use capitals, and it's still not going to recognize it. See how it still doesn't recognize it? Okay, all right. It might seem like I'm belaboring this point, like, Colin, move along quicker. What I need you to understand is this is going to give you so many more headaches. And if you understand this little example, right, you can fix a lot of your bugs later on. All right, next we're going to make a new folder again, new directory, okay? And we're going to do this in our project root. Notice when I clicked on new directory right now, it's trying to put it into the wrong spot. So click in the white space, click in the white space. You can hear me annoyingly click into this project root and go ahead and click on new directory. So we're going to have a sibling. We're going to have a sibling to CSS, okay? And that's going to be our IMG folder, all lowercase. So we're going to have an empty folder right now called IMG that has nothing in it. And what you want to see here is these are currently all siblings. And wherever you go work, they're going to go like, okay, that's great. You learn how to structure your files and folders this way. But at our company, this is how we do it. And I need you to learn that. Okay? Get used to not being in control of your file and folder structures. Because later on, you're going to be using a lot of frameworks, and you're going to be using a lot of code that you didn't write. And you have to get used to working around stuff that you don't control. All right, let's go ahead and take me.jpg and put it into our IMG folder. All right, Andy, if I move this image, is it going to break again?
Yes.
Yep, perfect. All right, same thing here, okay? And I don't want us to panic, okay? If you're panicking right now, I need you to slow down and try to understand this conceptually. Like, my expectation here is it's looking for index.html is right there. And it's looking for something in its family called me.jpg, right? All right, Andy, I'm gonna continue to ask for your help here. Okay, how do I get me.jpg? What folder is me.jpg in?
IMG.
IMG. Andy, how do we separate a file from a folder?
/.
/ Thank you. That's it, y'all. You're going to be doing that a whole lot in your web design career. A ton. A whole lot. Okay. When we put it in background images, okay, that same thing. All right. So now that we got that, now that we fixed this, now we've made this change. Now let's go back into index.html again, right? We're going to grab those 2 style sheets. And really, this right here, so how come normalize didn't break? How come our primer didn't break? Because normalize is an absolute path. It absolutely is sitting on this server, right? Because it has HTTPS, which we're waiting for to propagate on our own Netlify, right? But this is relative. This project is relative to our project, and this is absolutely on someone else's. I feel like I'm yelling right now. Am I yelling right now? Okay, all right. So I'm loud in class. I'm even louder when I'm remote because I'm trying to keep everybody involved here. All right, let's go ahead now and copy this link, and then we can go ahead. Whoops, and cancel that. Put that back. Let's go ahead and copy that. Now we're going to go into all of our pages. 404.html. Oops, now this is also missing normalize. So let me do this again. Back into index.html. Let's grab normalize and our style sheet. We're icing on the cake. Okay. Already we've demonstrated this. We're using normalize.css and we're not even, and we didn't make it, which is awesome. All right, so inside of our 404.html, right before our title, we're going to paste in our style sheets. And then we can check this by going to 404.html, and it has the coral color and the background image. And then we're going to go to contact.html, because today we're going to make a contact form, right? And already you can see this. And so if we go to contact.html, right, that, oh, it doesn't have our background color. Well, no problem. We're going to wash, rinse, and repeat. Now, a lot of web design is this wash, rinse, and repeat. And our portfolio needs that same thing. I want you to be able to break things, and I want you to be able to fix things. And next week, when we start designing and breaking a lot, I fall into the camp where CSS breaks the web. Like, I'm in that camp. HTML by itself already unstyled has a look, has a font size. There's already stuff there. And once you understand that every time you're designing a site, you're breaking what it looks like by default, and that's a good thing, right? Just like you learn in UX2, not UX2, but not VCD2, right? You learn to make and break the grid, right? Before you can break the rules, you need to know what the rules are. This is why this is a design class, because those same concepts apply here. All right, let's get more pragmatic. Okay, so now let's double check this. And a good way to double check this is to close this all up, right? And let's go back to our home page. And then this is all well and good, but let's go into our debug mode so we can actually debug this thing. Refresh, and then now we can navigate through our site, and the background color persists. Okay, we don't have any content, but that's okay. The background color persists, and that's what we're looking for right now, is everything is working. Right, and we can even come into here and check for 404. Okay, and to do that, we just mash down on our keyboard and hit OK. Oh, this is a CodePen 404. We want our own 404.html. That's a good place to segue here. All right, there's our 404.html. Okay. Be able to see all of your files. All right, that said, let's go make this 404. All right, so I'm going to close up all of my files. Okay, so if you have a folder of PDFs, right, you don't want to throw them all in your root folder. I believe there's 2 types of people in the world. There's people who have their computer desktops organized, and there's people who don't. There's people who throw everything on there, and there's people who keep it organized. I'm one of those organized people because I work with computers. Okay, and you know, even if you're like my spouse who just throws everything on her desktop and it's all there, you need to know where your files are, and that's probably the best metaphor I can say for how we. Okay, but now when we're working on websites, you're making this for the machine. And the machine has rules, and the computers have rules, and the servers have rules, and this is what we're doing. All right, all that said, Colin, let's go into 404.html. Let's pop open a new tab. Okay, so we're in 404.html. We're going to go a new tab. Let's go to giphy.com, giphy.com. And we're going to find a nice fail GIF for us. And like I just ran across a nice, well, while you're going to Giphy, giph.com. I'm going to come in here and I just ran across this 404. Okay, so anytime you go to zurb.com and you go to the wrong page, it pops this up and look at this. This is nice, good user experience. This is what we want. Okay. This is what you don't want. Oh, look at that. Everybody see the cow? We're going to be able to do that, by the way, when we try to do CSS animation. Yeah, there's the cow. That's awesome. Yeah. What we don't want is to give this to our user. We don't want to, like, how many times have you landed on a page that has looked like this? Like, what does this mean to anybody, right? That's why this is a design class. Yes, this works. And most people will say, use the back button. Well, in UX design, we teach you that if your user uses the back button, your navigation, to use your parlance, your navigation sucks. Why? Because the back button is a fail-safe, right? You want to have good internal navigation on your design. Yes, this is still a design class, and these are all design considerations that we're making. All right, so be human, okay? Page isn't working, isn't good, right? So let's fix that. This is nice. This is human readable, right? This lets you know that, oh, good, I didn't make a mistake, okay? All right, all that said, that's a longer lecture. We can come here and search for any word that is equivalent to fail. I'm just going to go ahead and click on fail. You can even click on 404 and get something. All right, I saw this earlier and I want this, so I'm going to click on this baby. What I'm going to do is I'm going to give you I don't know, 30 seconds. Find a good funny fail, right? You can change them later. What's up, dude?
How long until your car was over?
I don't know. Wait, you want to ask class if they're gonna? It depends on the class.
I want to say hi too. Okay.
Can you ask them to pay extra attention today and we can get out early?
Pay extra attention so my dad can still have time to have fun.
Okay. All right. Now y'all have to go.
Aw, look at you, baby.
Yeah, no. All right. Go.
I didn't get to say hi.
All right.
Bye. Okay, Tiggy, say hi.
Okay. There's awesome.
Tiggy's
All right.
gonna...
Good. Come on.
Okay, I'm going now.
All right. Now you can go. Thank you. All right. Once you have that, upside down side to. Oh, now do I have to cut that out of the lecture now? Okay. What minute mark are we at here? Okay. Make note. All right. Let's go ahead now and go into media. Okay. And what we want now is the source. So before I move on, is this the absolute path? Anybody yell it out. We're going to get this link right here, right? So we're inside of Giphy. We're going to click on media. We're going to get the source. Is this an absolute path or relative path? And we can be done with this portion. Do you own this or are you using it?
Salute.
Your absolute path. Okay. All right, let's go ahead and copy that. Thank you. Who was that? Austin. Thank you for the help. I'm gonna have y'all say your names before you. All right, good. So now we're gonna copy that. Let's go into our code pen here under 404. We have our navigation. We have our H1 that says 404. We can even change that preview. All right, so we're in 404, and then all we need to do is go IMG, all right, and paste in that path for our source because we know how to add in an image. Okay, and then there we go. We're really working on content. Later on, if you want, we can make this a background image. We can make this picture full size if we wanted to. Okay, so this is going to be my 404. Okay, there's 404. All right. All right. Thanks for helping each other in the chat. Appreciate it. Thank you, Kayla. All right. So we've done relative and absolute paths. Let's go ahead and take care now of forms. I'm going to close this up and go to contact.html. All right. I get pushback on contact.html and contact forms because, and rightly so, yeah, because I can argue to no end that no one uses a contact form. I can, right? That few people do. what you will lose is this is the foundation for how all web apps work. Facebook is a glorified contact form. Your email is your Outlook email is a glorified contact form. And so this is why we're still having this be a part of Web 1. Right? Also, never do this, y'all. All right, this is my email address. Okay. Don't just throw this out there for the world, because this will get spammed and you will get even more spam than you already do, because some person didn't protect your email address like so. And so what we're going to do is we're going to use Hover. I mean, not Hover. We're going to use Netlify to process our forms for us. So in a normal, in the older Web 1 classes, we made forms, we designed forms, and then the students would go, all right, we're ready to have our forms work. And I go, we can't until Web 2. And so now in 2020, right, we have services like Netlify to make our forms go. Okay. So all that said, so don't just throw your email out like that. Like, this is where your contact form is going to protect you. Okay. This right here is a form. Right? Like everything in like your search, this is a form field right here. This is a form field. Right? So sometimes someone says like they don't have a form field, it's like they're everywhere. Anytime you provide input to a website, it's a form. Okay, I'm gonna get off my soapbox there. Isn't it fun? Y'all want me to lecture more about how everything is a form? All right, let's get into this. All right, so we're back to our process here. We're back to our process. Now we could just drop in the code, right? And this is what I don't want to have happen. So over on Netlify, right, there's a section here called forms, and they basically say, just take all this code, copy it in, you're done. Right? Don't have to listen to Colin anymore. And my question would be that is awesome. That makes perfect sense. And then my next question would be, how does this work? And customize it. Can you add in more form fields? Can you add in less form fields? I want a color picker. How would you add that in? So there's lots of different form fields. And anytime anyone tells me like they have HTML mastered, I tell them about HTML form fields. And there are so many form fields that we don't even know about, like a color picker. We do this one in Web 3. We're ignoring a certain website. You know which one. Don't need to. Right. This, what you can't see is it popped open my color picker, and but you can see me changing a different color. That's a type of form field. Okay? It's not just a contact form. And that's why this is still part of web date field, right? The date picker. All right. All that said, let's go ahead now. We need to practice this, and then we're going to apply this back in. And we practice in pens and apply in our projects, practice in pens and apply in our projects. All right, from the course website, let's go ahead and pop open the Master Professor pen or the Professor pen. And let's take a look at forms. Down at the bottom there is the completed form, but we don't need to worry about that. All right, first we're gonna have a form parent, right? And we get this action attribute, okay? And we're gonna go ahead and get rid of the default action because we're not using that one, right? We're using a different way to do this. And the attribute that we need, yeah, and there's two kinds. There's a get and post. And the method we're going to be using here is not get, not post. There's also put and delete, but different class. Okay, we're just going to use this one called post. All right, and sometimes you'll see it as all caps, but you know, lowercase works too. Okay, and because this is content, what kind of method are you using to post your field? I mean, post your content and post. And so you see this as post. And we're going to give it all caps because this is from Netlify. Okay. And so I'm going to do some weird formatting here, just to kind of make my point. And you don't have to do this weird formatting. Again, anytime you want to fix your formatting, go into your settings here and format HTML like that. And nicely cleans it up. All right, so this has our first attribute of method, right, with a value of post, and then the form wraps up, right? So everything inside of here is the actual form itself. And again, I'm going to go a little bit quick because what we're doing is we're now applying what you did from week 1, right? Remember week 1 you did forms, or week 2, like we went through this. I said, just get it done and we'll return to it. And so if you need a refresher on this, go back to your textbook, right? We're considering this our textbook, and get a refresher on that. All right, so we have our method of posts, and then we need to give this thing a name. Okay, and forms have all these attributes, and they can have so much more. And you can call this whatever you like. Okay, but contact me, contact form, all good. Okay, connection to the world. So contact form is a good name for this thing. You can call this whatever you like. All right, and then the last one is something that is so awesome. So this right here is one of those questions of like, I am an HTML expert. And I go, what do you think about data attributes? And I go, well, you're just making that up. Good one, Colin. You're trying to trick me. And like, no, we can make our own attributes. And so HTML is an extensible language that we can extend. And if you go data dash Colin, data dash my first name, right? Pukong, you can go data dash like VCD. Okay. Basically, this is a prefix that allows you to hook into custom attributes. And let's say you were designing something for yourself as a student, right? Maybe a data dash grade, data dash standing, data dash major. Okay. And I can't stress enough how important these data dash attributes have been to HTML5. Right? Like this came with HTML5, and it really allowed us to extend a language. So in this case, we're going to use data dash netlify. Okay, so if we were to look right now in the dictionary for data dash netlify, the HTML dictionary, nothing would exist because this is a custom word. Okay, a good way to think about this. Ready? There's a certain website that is full of custom words. We had to look this up yesterday. Urban Dictionary is custom words. Right? Every time I hear you all say something, I have to look it up in Urban Dictionary. I'm like, I think that's what it means, Good. Custom words, right? We're extending the language. So yes, we looked up government name inside of UX3 yesterday. So I don't want to browse on here too far because it's going to be something ridiculous and offensive, but okay. Good. Oh, we learned about drip yesterday. I'd rather talk about this. Now I know what drip means. All right, throw up an emoji. Let me know you're still there, that I haven't lost you completely here. Hit space bar, say something. Oh, I've lost them on record. That's good. They're not here today. And now I'm just talking to myself. Throw up a reaction. Or I'm going to talk more about Urban Dictionary. Let me know you're there. Say something into the chat. Do something, anything. It's like I'm begging. I'm sure there's an Urban Dictionary.
Throwing up
We are throwing up.
reactions.
Oh, okay. I can't see them. Thank you. I'm sure there's an Urban Dictionary word for what I'm doing right now, like begging y'all to say something. All right. So what we want now is we're going to have a label, okay? And we're going to give that label a name, and then we're going to give that label an input field. And this is what is most absolutely infuriating about forms. We have a field called input. That is a text type field. And then down here, we're going to have another input field, but the text type is going to be what? Submit. And this should be kind of a great example of the web. Also, designers, did we write submit query? No, we didn't. Okay. Designers, did we? Oh, I can collapse that, right? Did we make it that gray color? Right. Did we put that border on it? Now I'm asking you this because what we don't want to do here. Kayla, I just have a different font than you. You can go into your settings and under your avatar here and just change all your fonts and themes, and it'll look cursive. That's all. All right. I'm just, okay. And so this right here is my best example of what web design is, right? We're breaking the web, and you're changing what is there by default. By default, it says submit query, right? Or just submit most of the time. Okay, and that's going to always depend on the browser, and we're going to have to be able to go in there and change that, and that's what CSS is all about. All right, so now what we're going to do is we're going to associate the label with the field. Okay, in this case, the label is going to be name. Okay, for what field? All right, name, and then inside of our field, again, this is where this gets a little bit confusing here. And this is what I love about HTML, by the way. We have an attribute called name, and the value for this is going to be name. Let that sink in for a second. You have name, the value of the for attribute name in capital N, the name of the actual field, and then you have the name attribute with the value of name. And this drives people, this is upsetting at first, right? And this is also why people go to random websites and just paste in form fields. Well, I don't want you to do that. I really want you to understand what's happening here. So it's just like everything in context. Okay, name in this context is different than name in this context. Good there? Okay, so everything is in context. Understand the context in which things are used. Okay. All right. And so that is going, I was trying to break this down, right? The other form field that we have here, we're going to do that same thing here, is we're going to have an area. We're going to have a label here. Okay. And this could be for our text area. So this could be your actual message. Okay. But that is not an input field. That is unfortunately a text area field, like so. And again, designers, did we make it this wide? Did we pick that background color? Like, who put these in here? And that's the mentality I want you to have, right? What are the defaults? Because I'm going to sure as heck to change them because I'm a designer. And what are you doing picking my colors for me? That's my job. Okay, and that's how I want you to view all this stuff. All right, that is your 8-minute recap of form fields. What I'm going to do now is just copy and paste, right, what we got from Netlify and make sure that we understand this. Okay. All right, so there is our Netlify form ready to go. At this point, you should be able to add in fields. At this point, you should be able to remove fields. Quick heads up, why Netlify puts in why would Netlify wrap these in paragraphs is because this is going to become really evident next week when we do the box model. We learn about block versus inline elements again. All right, we return to that. Is this right here? By default, a form are all inline, right? That's why it looks like this. And there's lots of workarounds, right? Because isn't that weird? By default, all form fields are in a horizontal row, but you've spent probably all of your life looking at form fields being blocked, one on top of the other. And that right there is another, just a great example of how this medium works, okay? And to get around that, they just wrapped it inside of a paragraph because paragraphs are block level elements where they're stacked on top of each other. So visually, this works. The downside to all of this is now we have to wrap all of our fields inside of a paragraph. Yes, and that back and forth and that consolation, right, is web design. Okay, and so hopefully in the future we won't have to have these consolations. But all right, now that we got this working, here's our practice. Let's go ahead and apply it now. So I'm going to copy out the form. I'm going to go back into the project, open up contact.html, and finally paste it in there. All right, so we have our forms fields. Okay. Now what we need to do is actually get this thing to work. And this is why we're using Netlify. We're using Netlify because we want our form processing, and we want Netlify because it's going to give us HTTPS, because we can stay here all day and type stuff. Oh, Netlify is also going to check our forms for validity, right? So if someone for some reason doesn't put an @ symbol in the email, it'll give them an error, which is also nice, a form validation. And if we hit send on this, it's not going to do anything. It just won't do anything. And so what we need to do is get this to Netlify. This right here is from Netlify. Right? Netlify is checking this field for you, right? But it still won't submit. So we're going to close this all up. Okay, we're actually at a good point now. Now we're going to get all of our code outside of our staging, which is on CodePen. In the bottom right hand corner, we're going to click on export again. And it's going to prepare the zip file for us. And this is how we're going to wrap up class in the next few minutes here. Yeah, this is a process I need us to get used to, right? It's cumbersome, I know. It's really, really cumbersome. But by Web 2, there's a much faster method. All right, go ahead and hit download zip. And what you can't see is a window popped up. I'm going to go ahead and save that. Once you have it saved, you can extract it. Okay. So you're going to get a zip file that has a random string of characters on it. Okay. Extract it. And then what we need to do is go to Netlify. Okay. And then we're going to just simply drag and drop. They make it super easy. Right. So we're going to go back into our site settings here. Where's our deploy settings? Sorry, y'all. I'm spacing out here. I'm trying to do this without the nerdy way here. I don't want a new site. I want the existing site.
Is it the deploys tab right by overview?
Oh, thank you. They moved it. Thank you. All right. I want to give you credit. Who?
McClure, Brandon McClure.
Brandon, thank you.
Yep.
Appreciate it. All right. All right. So what I'm gonna do right now is share my screen. Share my desktop screen here. All right. So Brandon, do we want, now that our site is already up there, do we want the folder or the contents of the folder?
The folder?
So if we put the folder, it's going to overwrite, but the folder is already there, right? So, we would say drag and drop your site folder. Perfect. Okay, let's see here. How do I do this? Stop share. I'm going to now share my desktop there. All right, you can see my desktop screen. Yay, yay. Right, right there is my folder. I'm going to simply take that and drop it right into there. Okay. You're going to upload it, and this right here is awesome. And look how fast that was. That was unbelievably fast. Oh, and look, and it looks like our domain propagation is all done. Yay! Right, and down here is going to be our contact form. Let's go back into domain settings for a second. And if we scroll on down, look, now we have our HTTPS. Okay, so that should be ready to go. And again, if this isn't ready for you, then just check back later. It should be ready to go. All right, so this is a good thing, designers. You're basically offloading the very serious task of securing a website. You do not want to be responsible for securing a website. Right? You want managing the security of a website. You just want to secure it and let it go. All right, so this should be working. And now we can actually even command click on this, and there it is. Yay. Then we can go to our contact form and your name here. Let's go here. Let's make up a name here. Frank John. How about John Smith? Email address is jsmith@fake. Oh, this is going to go to my spam folder, but that's okay. Fake.com. It says, hi. Would you like to sell? What other spam messages do you get? Hi, would you like to sell your house? Hi, would you like to refinance? house painting, refinance your home. All right, paint your home. Okay, good. All right, we're gonna hit submit on this, send on this, excuse me. Again, designers, who wrote send? Netlify. We're gonna have to go in and change that. Okay, I'm gonna hit send on this, and who made this thank you submission page? Netlify. We're gonna have to go in and change that. Okay, and this is okay. Netlify says we need to have these things. Okay, we want to give you at least a boilerplate template one. Okay, so now I'm gonna stop sharing this and share my home screen. I know the week of file structure and the week of, you know, just getting everything set up and practicing our process of staging and production isn't the most visually exciting week, but it's necessary because then we don't ever have to return to this. Okay, all right, back to our site. And now we have a form submission. So to see the forms, it doesn't go to your email, which is a good thing, by the way. Okay, we're gonna go back into Netlify. And if you go to your overview page, there is a recent form submission right there. So congratulations, you have a working form field. Most of you should have your HTTPS set up. And lastly, someone can type in your domain and see your site. And so that's it. If there's nothing else, have a good day.